And why am I doing this? Because the goal has always been no student debt. None. Hello, I'm Milo. I'm an international bachelor's student in Europe. I'm originally from Kansas. And I wanted to talk to you guys about how finances work for me here in Europe. We're going to be talking about how does budgeting even work? What sort of budget logic do I follow? 2, what does my budget look like? How much money am I spending? 3, the technical aspects of budgeting, apps and stuff like that to keep me on track. And 4, some other tips and tricks for dealing with money and finances as an American in Europe. So how do I keep track of it all? I use GoodBudget. It's a very simple app that allows me to make different envelopes that I can take out of over the course of the month. I say, okay, I spent this, and it shows me where I am for the month, where I should be. There's a little line that moves along as the month ticks down. Another reason I use this app is because I use cash a lot. I get paid in cash for one of my jobs, and I didn't like the automatic transaction tracking things that other apps had. I wanted to enter it manually because that sort of just reminds me that, hey, I'm spending money, and then 2, I'm spending cash, so I still need to track it, and it's not just invisible money that came out of nowhere. I've also heard some other good budget and expense tracking apps are Rocket Money, but personally, I like tracking it myself every day. I have an alarm for 10 p.m. every single day that says, track your expenses! And when that goes off at 10 p.m. every single day, I go back through my notifications on my phone, maybe receipts that I've collected from spending cash, and I put them all into GoodBudget. That just reminds me, okay, Milo, maybe you spent a lot of money today, and it's not something that I can just forget about. I know every day where my money is at. To some people, that sounds like a hassle. To some friends of mine, they get pretty annoyed that I have a 10 p.m. alarm every single day. I understand not for everybody necessarily. One other thing I like about GoodBudget is that you can make your envelopes roll over from month to month. For example, my school envelope rolls over from month to month, and I can spend those extra $10 that I've saved up on final season or something. Okay, so now you have your envelopes, you have your budget tracking app. Now it's time to go out and test it. Go live your life, and don't be afraid to adjust it once the month is over. I adjust mine all the time. It makes me confident that I'm spending an amount of money that I'm comfortable with, and I'm in control of my money. For example, I recently adjusted it because I found I was spending too much money on Lidl pastries from the grocery store. And I would buy so much that my eating out category would trickle out and disappear. And I would start putting the expenses from those pastries into my grocery store envelope. And so I just switched it. I put a little bit more money into my eating out envelope, took it out of my grocery store envelope, and now it's balanced, and I know, okay, I'm spending this much money on eating out, actually, not on groceries. Okay, so in total, not including rent, I spend $288 per month. That doesn't work for everybody. That's just what works for me here in Denmark, a little bit less in the Czech Republic. Basically, main goal, stay under $300 a month for me. And then adding rent on top of that keeps my monthly expenses pretty low. When I first moved to Prague, I had shared room dorm apartment. I paid about $450, maybe $500 per month on that. And to date, that's been normal, but I've been able to find deals and friends to live with that have lowered that cost for me. So it's gone a little bit down. But yeah, that's just sort of the norm here for Prague. In Denmark, where I am right now, I'm also paying about $450 for this dorm room, but I am 30 minutes by bike outside of the city center. I live with 14 other people on my floor. We each have our own private room with our own bathroom, but we all share a kitchen. I love it, by the way, but some people don't want that, and they'll have to pay more money for a different type of apartment. But that's also just due to the Danish economy, different living standards and stuff like that. Okay, and to cap it all off, I'll talk about how do I actually pay my money over here? What banks do I use? What apps do I use? How do I get cash? Blah, 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 blah. Number 1, it is so important when you're first moving to Europe to figure out how to pay international bank account transfers as soon as possible. This is something I completely struggled with when I first moved here. When I was first moving out, I needed to pay a deposit on my dorm room. I was using my hometown Kansas bank, shout out Capital Federal, and I walked over to our neighborhood branch. I walked in, I said, I need to make an international transfer. I have their IBAN, address, and everything. And the bank associate said, what's an IBAN? We talked it out, lots of Google searches. Me, 18-year-old, sitting across from a professional bank associate, both equally clueless on how to send money internationally. But then, okay, you think you got it? Yes, we've sent the money, but no confidence in it ever getting there. It might float around in the international system and never appear in their account. great start to my international journey. Luckily, it did work, but I couldn't be walking to my local bank branch to make an international transfer each time. That's unrealistic. They also charged a hefty fee for it, and I knew I had to find a workaround. Luckily for you, I am here. I can tell you what I do now. That makes it so simple. Little did I know, apps like Wise and Revolut are perfect for sending international bank account transfers and also having accounts in different currencies. My main piece of advice is set up your account and the app before you leave home. You need a working phone number to get your account started. Finally, I find it better to use financial apps like these because the money you lose on currency exchanges is a lot more visible to you. When I first moved to Prague, I used SoFi, which is a digital bank, and I didn't know that for every transaction I had, there was a tiny invisible fee that I couldn't see. I would get a notification saying you spent $6.83 on this transaction, but I didn't necessarily know what the exchange rate was at that time, and I found they were adding a couple extra cents up to dollars on my purchases. So that adds up by the end of the year, and they're very unclear about it. Now with Revolut or Wise, I transfer money in a big batch. I can time it for the best exchange rate, and I can see exactly how much money I'm losing on the transaction, the fees I'm paying, yada, yada, yada. And once I do that, from then on, I'm paying in the local currency. And so right now I have accounts in Euro, US dollars, Danish kroner, Czech crowns, and in Great British pounds. Later on, I set up a local Czech bank account just so I could more easily deposit cash. You can transfer money between your local Czech bank account, these intermediate apps like Revolut or Wise, your home bank account, Capital Federal, SoFi, whatever you use, moving money between them is relatively simple. Okay, so just to recap, we talked about the basic principle of budgeting, sand and stones in a jar. You gotta fit it all. 2, what my budget looks like for somebody who was in the Czech Republic and in Denmark. 3, what budgeting apps I use. And 4, what financial apps I use to move my money around. I hope this answers a lot of questions about how finances work in general in Europe. It took me a long time to get to the point where I am at now, where I'm totally comfortable moving my money around in a lot of different currencies. So I just want to be of the most help. If you have any questions, make sure to comment them and we'll try to get back to you. Beyond the States is a great help in all of this, whether it's looking and researching at schools, understanding what living costs are like in different places around Europe. They can help you on every step of the way. I'm Milo. I'm a student ambassador for Beyond the States, and I look forward to sharing more tips about my journey as an American bachelor student in Europe. Hope you tune in next time. Thank you.